Hi everyone, it's Sean from Krishada Games. We're putting up the instructional video for our amazing combat Take Over the Earth card game simulator. The Earth is Ours. So we're going to show in this video how a normal round of play begins and how we use the cards with their effects.
The two teams will try to either help or harm the Earth by playing effect cards in 5 categories. The teams try to play effect cards that will have an impact on each category. Successfully played effect cards count as points in each category, 1 point per effect card. At the beginning of the game, the players decide how many points in each category must be won before that category has been completed. The more points, the longer the game. Completed categories are marked with a special machine card for each team. Once all the categories have been completed, the game is over. Before we get back to our example of gameplay, let's quickly look at each type of card in the game and explain how they work. In The Earth is Ours, our players' hands are made of 7 cards. You must always have 7 cards in your hand at the beginning and end of your turn. During your turn, you may do any of the following actions. You can play an effect card and try to get a point for your team. You can try and play an action card to disrupt gameplay. Or you can discard cards, all the way up to the 7 cards in your full hand. You cannot pass your turn without completing one of these actions. The point of The Earth is Ours is to build a machine that will save or destroy the Earth, and we do this by building points in each of those 5 categories. At the start of the game, we decide how many points we'll play to before each category is complete, and this determines the length of the game. Every successfully played effect card counts as 1 point in its category, and only action cards can remove points. However, once a category is complete, that piece of the machine is built and it cannot be altered by any card. The effect cards show how each team will affect that particular area, good or bad. In this case, we see the Benevolents are trying to help save the Earth. While here, the evil Nefarians are trying to affect the Earth in negative ways. Just because you can play an effect card doesn't guarantee you a point. Combat cards are used by both teams to attack and protect effect cards played by the opposing team. You can only use the combat card that is the same color as the effect card currently in play. Let's assume that the Nefarians try to get a point in the environmental or blue category by playing the Gobs of Greasy Garbage card. They can place this card on the table and try to earn 1 point for their team. This card is placed on top of the blue machine piece on the Nefarian team. The Benevolents will now have the opportunity to try to remove that card and stop the Nefarians from getting a point by using blue combat cards. While an effect card can only be played by the current player, any player on the Benevolent team can try to stop that by playing a blue attack combat card. Similarly, any player on the Nefarian team can try to save this by playing a blue defend card. This continues until each team has no blue combat cards left in their hand. As long as the defending team has as many or more defend cards than the attacking team has attack cards, they'll win. In this case, the Nefarians win because they had more blue defend combat cards than the Benevolents had blue attack combat cards. Then the Nefarians would now have 1 point in the environmental category. However, if the Benevolents had more blue attack combat cards, the Nefarians would have lost. The effect card would be discarded and no points would have been won. The action cards are all white cards that have different effects. They can be used to hinder the other team by making one of the players miss a turn or perhaps show you all their action cards. They can automatically add an effect card in a colored category. This is successful automatically and can't be changed with combat cards. They can also remove an effect card and cause that team to lose a point in one of the colored categories. Action cards can also be supported or defeated by using yeps and nopes. These are other white cards with thumbs up or thumbs down symbols. They can be used to prevent or enforce an action card played against your team. They work exactly the same way as combat cards, but only work against the all-white action cards. You cannot use yeps or nopes to defend or save an effect card. One important rule of the game, you're only allowed to hold 2 action cards at the same time in your hand at any given time. If you already have 2 action cards in your hand and you draw another one, you must discard one and draw again. Now that we've seen an overview of all the cards and how they work, let's head back to the example and Sean can show us how they're used in actual gameplay. So here we are back in our exciting gameplay, and as you can see right here, we've got all 5 of our categories lined up with the machine pieces ready to go. At the beginning of the game, we need to decide how many points we're going to play for. A typical game is usually 3 points in each category. But for the sake of argument, we're just going to play one right now and just show you how it goes. So Sean is ready. He's got his cards in his hand. The Benevolents, because they're such good fellows, are going to go first.
All right, enough with the talking. Let's get on to the action. All right, looking at my cards, with the 7 cards that I'm allowed, as was explained with the maximum of the 2 white cards, I am going to try and affect the environment and get a point. I am placing down van loads of volunteer veterinarians.
Now, because that's a blue effect card, anybody on my team can play a blue attack card and try and stop that from happening. So I happen to have a blue attack card, Sean, and I'm going to lay that down. Attack!
Oh, well, because I knew this was going to be coming, I have a blue defend card that will stop that attack.
Well, that's fine, because we're evil and we're prepared. We also have another blue attack card.
But as a team, this could come from any of us, but it's in my hand, so defend.
And because you have the same number of defend cards as I have attack cards, my attack is nullified. And you get to keep a point, sir. Congratulations.
Yay! And since we're going to 1 point on these, I now have the blue machine.
Yeah, so that machine piece, that category, can now no longer be affected by any combat cards or any action cards. That's all locked into place, and I can't take that away from you. We interrupt this playtest in progress to bring you this very important message. Once your first machine piece is complete, you can use that category's combat cards as wildcards to attack and defend any other category. Now, this only happens with the first category you complete, and it remains in effect for the duration of the game. For example, if the blue category is the first to be completed, your team can now use blue attack and defend cards for any other color. You're 1 step closer to winning the whole game.
Exactly. And now that it's the end of my turn, I'm going to draw back up to the 7 cards that I am allowed.
And I'm going to go ahead and take my turn on my team. I'm also going to try to get a point. I'm going to take one in the orange or technological category, and I'm going to use swarms of sadistic spammers. I'm going to try to get a point in that one.
I hate spam. Anyways, we're going to stop that with an attack.
Oh, no, you're not. I'm going to defend, sir.
And as my team rallies, we attack again.
And my team is not prepared and doesn't have another defend card, so unfortunately those get discarded, and I'm not able to get a point. You are currently in the lead.
And because it's the end of his turn, I must have 7 cards in my hand, so I will draw them up. As you notice, I've got extra white. I will get rid of that white and redraw another card. All right. I kind of want this game to keep going, so I'm going to play an action card. You, sir, will miss your next turn.
But because that's an action card, I happen to have a nope, which means I can refute that and say, ha, think again, my friend.
But I have a yes, and my word is law.
I have no more nopes, so I guess I'm going to miss that turn. Dang! And the play just continues like that. Everybody making sure at the end of their turn, if they've played attacks or defends or yeps or nopes, they're drawing back up to those 7 cards in their hands. The play continues diagonally across the table and just loops around to the first person on your team.
Right, and then once you get to the end of the game where you have all the categories filled with the number of cards that you wanted, the one major rule at the end of the game is...
everybody must yell,
"The Earth is ours!" Hey everyone, I know you're asking yourself, how do I get this amazing game? Well, we are now live on Kickstarter, so please stop by, back us, that way we can get the game into production and we can get that game right into your hand.
Hey everybody, even more exciting news if you happen to be in the Windsor area, we'll be holding live playtest tournaments of this game at Rockstar, 2418 Central Avenue. We're going to do it every Thursday for the duration of the Kickstarter campaign, so you can join us from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m., no cost necessary, prizes to be won. We'll be doing it Thursday, September 20th, 27th, October 4th, and October 11th. We'll see you there.